Hey you guys, what's up? I'm so freaking excited that you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Sits with Sid. We are going to be talking about what is HS, what is hidradenitis suppurativa. I know that you may be following me because you have HS, or you see me posting about it and you know somebody who has it, or you're just completely clueless as to what this condition is, but you're here for it, right? You're here for the support, and I appreciate you. And so I just kind of really want to give you guys a little bit of insight on what the disease is and kind of my story with it all and how it all unfolded in my life and when it began and how we're gonna move forward. And I just really know that huge things are coming. So I looked up the definition of HS just because I don't want to give you guys my twisted version of it, because I will be so brutally honest, but this is what Google had to say. So HS is a chronic, long-lasting, systemic inflammatory disease that affects your skin. So I have HS. It affects my skin in my underarm areas on both sides. It affects my inner thighs. It affects my buttocks, and it also affects women, like their under breast area. That is where it affects me, you guys. I know that people go as far to have surgery. They get their sweat glands removed. They can get disability from having this disease, depending on, doctor records and how many times, you guys, the system. But it's really, really difficult. And so for the last 25 years, my walk on this earth has not been the best when it comes to just regular activities of daily living. You guys, as a CNA, it really struck me hard graduating high school, being able to be a caregiver in a sense of like, there was some days I was taking care of people when I couldn't simply take care of myself. I'm limping down a hallway, because I'm affected on my groin area, to where you get something so big, you literally cannot do anything but lay in bed. And after too many days of laying in bed, we all know that that can cause so many other different, illnesses, depression, anxiety, social anxiety, fear of what other people think about you, and opinions on if you do show your skin. And so growing up, I actually played volleyball since 3rd grade, and I always thought maybe it was just the spandex and the sweat, because it did start in my groin. And so I always just took it for like, I maybe just have super sensitive skin. And so it didn't hit me like a big deal until high school, when our hormones are going crazy, right? And that's when it really started affecting me. It started moving down my groin. I think I have scars now all the way to, I don't know if you can see, but right about mid thigh. And wearing shorts during the summer, wearing a bikini, all of those things play into part as an adolescence or as your teen years. And you start comparing yourself. You start wondering and questioning your body. You start feeling really bad about yourself. And although, I have a strong mother, she never talked down on me in any way or was like, you're ugly. She always empowered me I'm black and I'm beautiful. But I never felt like it in high school, and it started to show through my behavior. I just felt like I was really a nasty girl. Now that I'm an adult and I can self-reflect, I'm like, man, that was the heights of when hidradenitis really started just taking a toll on my body. It started popping up in my underarms. It was making it hard for me to want to wear, even a tank top during the summer or sports bras. I'm having track practice and I'm like, I wish that I could, take my shirt off and run, a freaking mile. But there was just so much comparison, and I can look back and I'm just like, I just feel so sorry for that version of me, like I just didn't feel good about myself, and I hurt people. I was a toxic friend, relationship. Like, I was in toxic relationships. Like, I was that B in high school, doing like the most. I was doing so much to where I never sat back and thought, like, what are people thinking of me? I was a teen mom, you guys. To be pregnant at 17 and walk through my senior year, and it felt like the mountain on my shoulders, like an actual mountain on my shoulders. Like, girl, you are black and pregnant up in this high school. Like, you, at the time, I'm gonna be brutally honest, I was like, who is my baby daddy? Like, and I say this, I don't want the judgment, because I can care less what people think of me now, but I say this to really unlock and really think that that is why I believe the purge of this disease taking such a huge effect on my body in that season was so much stress and so much nastiness that had to deal with on the inside of me. Like, and then on top of it, the eating habits. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper from day to night. I'm eating chocolate. Like, even though I worked out, I was not giving my body no fuel, you know? Like, I was being careless, and I wasn't treating it like a temple. And I used to say I don't like to get all godly on y'all, but I didn't find God and get close with him and get saved till after I got married, and it was different experience now. I mean, I still get flares now, because honestly, this disease, they don't have a cure for it. We just have to they're like, write it out. And so many people, they're like, go vegan, lose weight, cut dairy, natural herbs, essential oils. And then it's just like, there's so much that, like, everybody is just so different. I think the one thing that we all have in common is that we really can ask whatever higher power that you believe in. Like, you've got to trust that he wants to heal you. You've got to trust that it's a, like, I don't know, not to say that it's a sign, but I have to understand that these bumps and boils popping up on my body are a message in some form, right? Like, something is wrong. And they can say that, like, you've got an autoimmune disease, like, and there's no cure for it. But I've got to believe that, like, I can do my part. And at least, what is our part? Like, we've got to start drinking more water. We've got to start maybe moving our body a little bit more. We've got to start being more cautious of what we're eating. And I think it all really starts with the hunger to want to research. It really comes down to, all of that is a form of personal development, you guys. Like, when you see a mom, she's organic and she's gluten-free, and like, my auntie is that way. And I never think of her as somebody who's like crazy and can't live a little and just feed her kid McDonald's, right? Like, her form of self-development and self-care is, I'm going to research this food that I'm going to put into my body and see if it has a compound effect to maybe be detrimental to my health later, even though it tastes good now. And instead, I'm going to have a healthier option. I don't look at people who raw vegans are super in tune with, you know, their temple. I don't look at them in a weird way. I'm not like, oh my God, that can never be me. If anything, I'm like, let me learn something from you. Like, what's your way of making some vegan chicken nuggets? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we can learn from them. And I think when you have that hunger to want to do that and look at it as a personal development, if you like, it is, you're literally bettering yourself. You're bettering your health. You're bettering yourself. Like, oh, better in your health, you're better in yourself. You're better in your health, you're better in yourself. But no, for real. So I really think that plays a huge part into it. And that's the common denominator that I'm beginning to see in a lot of comments on the videos that I post, is so many people are like, what are you eating? Like, it's in the foods that you eat. Or they're like, you can, you know, if you go natural and do this. It's so true. And I'll be the first person to admit and be like, I do not want to research, like, what a Wendy's 4 for 4 is like really made out of, or what it's really gonna do for my body. You know what I mean? Like, we all watched it. Like, you watched Super Size Me in high school. What happened to that man? Like, he got sick because we cannot consume that kind of food all the time, every day, even if we're making it homemade at home. So I'm just really excited because I'll be the first person to be like, I fell short. I just had Wendy's last night. Like, I ain't shiz. I know I'm growing because I used to be the type of person who had Wendy's multiple times a week. And now, that was the first time we had it in a hot minute. And that's only because we were on our way home and it was literally like 10 o'clock at night. So we didn't even know if they were open. So I know a lot of people have the question of like, well, how was your HS3 pregnancy? Well, like, I really think becoming a teen mom was really such a traumatic experience for me. And at the time, I put on such a tough face. I feel like I was like, it's fine, I got this. And for so long I did, you guys. But I did get flares during pregnancy. It was hard. And it's just because the hormones, bro. That shiz is crazy. Not to mention the stress. I knew baby daddy or not, I had to step up, take responsibility, and raise a baby. Although at the time I did have a village. My parents did separate a year after my daughter was born. And all of that, y'all, I just started abusing drugs. 2017 was so rough. And even though, like, sometimes I discredit myself, I'm like, I wasn't a drug addict. Like, you don't have to claim addiction because you only use drugs for a year. But I'm just like, no, like, you literally were addicted, literally had to set yourself free, literally were suicidal, like, all of these things, you guys. And it really stemmed from how much hate I had for myself. Like, I literally thought so little of myself. I was giving my body away to people who didn't deserve to know me like that. Like, I pray for them, but I'm just like, the respect was below par. Like, was just below bare, like, was in the negatives. You know how much I know you grow through what you go through is because God is real. And I'm a person right now who can say I 1000% would never wreck another marriage, would never wreck another relationship, or vice versa, would never cheat on my husband because I had, like, I was that. It has to be a time where enough is enough. And you have to gain some self-respect. You have to. Like, you literally have to want it for you, not for what other people think about you. HS was taking over my body so bad. Don't use, like, and I used to think of it as punishment from God because I was like, I'm just out here in these streets and I'm like, who's gonna love me? Who's gonna love me with all these scars and bumps that keep popping up on my body? So I'm gonna take whoever offers, right? Which was disgusting. And then I had, like, the hate for myself after I was trying to learn how to love myself. I know it because I've been it. I never come to you guys and tell you something from judgment. I just don't judge people. Because you just don't know. And what if you're the person who can change their life by actually being a human being and being empathetic instead of judging them in any way, shape, or form? Like, that's my biggest flaw, but also my biggest strength is the ability to, sorry, if you're gonna watch my channel, there's just gonna be kids who pop up. Like, just get used to it. They're cute. But that is my biggest strength and my biggest flaw, is being able to actually understand where somebody's coming from, even when they're being messed up, even when I think their view may be tainted, even when I might think otherwise. I really am able to be like, okay, I want to know, like, why you think that way. So I'll have a conversation with you, not to belittle you. And so that's why I don't judge people when it's like, oh, they're the other woman. I remember when I was the other woman and I had a nasty soul, and I didn't realize that about myself until somebody was empathetic enough with me to tell me, girl, what you doing ain't right. You ain't cute. And karma will come back to you. And so when I decided to not be like that, I really did notice flares coming up less. Didn't come to the realization that I even wanted to be an influencer for this subject until January of this year is when I posted my first video about this condition, and the video went viral. And I was literally floored by the amount. I think we got like 1.8 million views, and we got like close to 1,000 shares on it. And I was just like, that's crazy that this many people were silently suffering with this disease. And how many other people are still out there who will never comment, who will never like, because they just feel like that's a version of exposing themselves. I just want to make it so normal, because I did have a lot of strong dreams. When I look back on my childhood, I'm like, what did I want to do? Like, I was in a lot of plays. I used to think that I could be a model. I loved it. Influencer is what I want. I love it. I want to be a real influencer. This is a sit with Sid. Like, and if you don't like it, then there's a billion other people on this app, wherever you're watching it on, that you can go watch. But for the people who are real, the people who are raw, the people who are vulnerable enough to sit down with me even and be like, I'm all the way open to people. Literally, I have people already. They're like, we should sit down and talk about this. And I'm like, heck yeah, we should. My dream is to have a talk show. My dream is I can still be a model with all these scars on my body. I don't have to be society's version of whatever dreams are in my head, because God placed the vision in my heart, and if he said it and he promised it, then it's already done. I just have to show up. And for months even, ask me how long I own this equipment that I'm recording to you on. For probably over a year now, both of them. And it was my biggest excuse holding me back to start a YouTube channel. Oh, I don't have a camera. I don't have a camera. I don't have the iPhone, whatever. And then my husband got it for me. And then for a year, they sat pretty. And so much so, I even let my phone go off, because I'm like, you know what? I don't even need this. And then my husband was like, all right, well, we're going to sell the GoPro. And I'm like, sell the camera for what? I'm like, no, I'm gonna talk to my people. Like, I believe they're gonna put me on, and I'm gonna put HS on the map, and we're gonna inspire a doctor to find a cure and like change some lives, and they're all gonna drink skinny coffee. Guys, I sat on this equipment for too long, and my husband was like, all right, let's just get rid of it, since obviously your dreams, well, he wasn't like your dreams are dying, but he always knows how to just push me. And he was like, you have a huge following on TikTok. I don't care what anybody says. You guys, don't let these apps play you into thinking that, like, because you don't have 1 million followers, you can't make an impact. Because I know that I have 35,000 followers on TikTok, and I know that I got 700 followers on Instagram, and I know I got 5,000 friends on Facebook and 21,000 followers on Facebook. And we gotta stop acting like that's little. We gotta stop acting like we all didn't start at start. That just because we're not a freaking Oprah Winfrey or Ellen DeGeneres, that you can't be successful on YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok, talking about whatever it is that brings you joy and that you want to freaking talk about. You don't have to be like me. You need to be like you. You could do this business that I do. You don't have to be like me. You have to be like you. Surviving HS, you don't have to do the things that help me survive, but you do need to do the things that are going to help you. And you need to figure them out, whatever they may be. Take your life into your own hands instead of thinking, I remember just too many days laying down, just letting this disease happen to me, instead of getting up and doing something and taking control of my body, taking control of my life. Getting back active again. I was a triathlete. Got to a point where I couldn't even run a mile. Got to the point where I was so overweight I didn't recognize myself. Got to the point where I was letting one disease fuel another disease. And it was detrimental. to my health, to my vision, to my plans for my life, to what I find out are always God's plans for our life. And so I believe no matter what you try to think, oh, it's just an algorithm, God controls all things for our good. So post your content. Make HS talked about. Make it normalized. Step into your confidence. If you don't have confidence yet, then step into your Godfidence. Get in your Bible. Study the scripture. Learn what God says about you. Learn what he thinks about you. Because it's not this poor, disgusting, ugly, loveless person that the enemy forces us to think. There's somebody out there for you. Your person is out there for you. They're going to love you with or without scars. They're going to be there. I promise you. But on this journey to finding whatever person makes your heart happy, whatever person you think is going to love you, understand and realize that this love starts with yourself. You have to love you. You have to go inside, look in the mirror, and say, I love you right now. With all these bandages, for those who just got out of surgery, with all these draining tubes, for those who just got over a flare, with all this anxieties, just waiting for the next one to happen. Sometimes we think we can anticipate the next move, but that's because we're only making it without God. He loves you, so you need to love you. And once you take that power and you start doing these little things, you guys, at the beginning, for me, it was doing my makeup. I just need to do a little thing that's going to make me feel better today. It's those little things that we let this disease rob our joy of for too long. Shopping, getting our toes done, the fear because I don't shave my legs anymore. So excited for Hidradenitis Suppurativa. It's going to be one that continuously pops up, probably forever, because I'm going to continuously deal with this disease. I mean, even if I do find the magic little it's like a puzzle. If I do figure the puzzle out for me, it might not be the same puzzle pieces that are gonna work for you. And I think that's what we all have to realize. So even though I might figure out what gives me less flares and what lifestyle I need to have remission, that's exactly what it is remission. It can always come back. A flare can always pop back up. And I just have to understand and live and know, have peace with that. We all do. But we can also find peace with each other, and we can find community in each other, and we can love on each other, and we can support and encourage and be there for each other through surgeries. I literally see us growing this community so big to the point where, like, I want to be able to pull up on anybody who's like going to surgery local to me and just pray for you before your surgery and be there for you. And if you're struggling, I want to be able to help financially. Like, that's what I believe. That's what I want a lot of money for, to help more people. And that's what I love about what I do. So I'm going to end it there, you guys. HS is hard. I'm very excited to watch this all unfold. And if you're new here, then stay tuned, because I have manifested and prayed over and been faithful to my dream to be a billionaire mom, to change lives, to impact, to inspire people, to give back more than I can literally ever imagine in my life. And I know that this is a part of it. So thank you for writing this out with me. I'm so excited to have another sit and talk with you guys. I hopefully have the comments turned on this video right away. So make sure if you're wanting to hear something from me on a specific topic, if I'm not familiar with the topic, I will 1000% go find somebody who is familiar in the topic who would be willing to sit down with me, and we can have a collab and we can talk about it and we can heal from it and we can grow together. So I hope that this was helpful. I love you guys. Thank you guys for sitting with me, and I wish you all have a blessed day. Bye.